After several months, I caved in. Daddy, Daddy, can we get a goldfish? Come on, can we get one? And this had been ongoing. And after much in-depth discussion, talking about the responsibilities of caring for a goldfish and all the roles and tasks that involved, we got a new addition to our household, Bobby, Bobby the Goldfish. Let's face it, he was only going to be there for a year, isn't that right? They only lived for a year or two. Well, anyway, 5 years later, Bobby was still there, part of the family. After that initial blush of joy and looking after the fish, you probably can imagine who the principal care, the goldfish caring duties fell upon. Yours truly. But you know what? Bobby and I kind of bonded over those 5 years. Generally, I was the first person to get up in the morning time, switch on the light, and there would be Bobby with the big eyes looking at me. A wee bubble surfaced up. We welcomed each other. It was a routine. He was part of the family. But unfortunately, the time arrived. I switched on the lights. Bobby was there, but he was in the bottom of the tank. He didn't look too great. Breathing rapidly. He was, I think the time had arrived. So we thought that this would be, an opportunity to maybe introduce the concept of loss to the children so we could prepare them for the inevitable. Anyway, 1 month later, Bobby was still there, sitting in the bottom of the tank, breathing and slightly bloated. My goodness, what are we going to do? I looked at my wife, we looked at each other. We knew that, look, something had to be done. But my wife said, well, I'm not going to do it. Are you going to do it? No, I couldn't flush the goldfish down the toilet. We can't just do that. We had the emotional bond with Bobby. So we turned our attention to other ways that we could do this. So we rang the vets, and we waited for the call, got through, and I asked the receptionist, look, I'm inquiring, is it potential that you could help us with, we want to put down a goldfish? Do you know that sensation when somebody says, hold on a second, and they're putting you on loudspeaker and gathering a crowd around the telephone? Could you say that again? I wonder if you could put down that goldfish for me. So after much consternation, they said, look, really, this is something that you could probably do yourself and give us some advice. In fact, there's even websites of goldfish euthanasia. How do we do this? So, okay, we decided we'd best just do that. So we looked online on Google, and sure be told there was websites dedicated to how to humanely dispatch your goldfish. So we looked, and the number one method was to use clove oil. So putting drops of this in a small bowl, and that should hopefully dispatch Bobby to the great goldfish bowl in the sky. So we didn't have any, so we nipped down to the local chemist in the local village and asked for some clove oil. Do you have any clove oil? No, sorry, we don't do that. Are you having dental pain? Is there anything that I could offer you instead? I didn't really want to tell her why I was wanting to buy some clove oil. I said, no, that's fine, that's okay. I'll make do. Next method on the list was to add alcohol, and they recommended vodka. So went to the local off-license, asked for the cheapest quarter bottle of vodka, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and lo and behold, the person behind the counter knew me and said, oh, I haven't seen you in years. And all of a sudden, there I was buying a quarter bottle of vodka in the middle of the day. It just didn't set a good profile. So anyway, got the bottle, went back home, and we set up the bowl. We poured the recommended amount of vodka into the bowl, and we sat back and observed what would happen. But of course, nothing happened. Bobby was still there. So what we were going to do? This is just not working out. So we then decided to go to the next method on the list, and this was to put Bobby in the freezer. With no induced haste, we got Bobby in the bowl with the vodka, and we put him into the fridge freezer. Closed the door and waited an hour, and then opened the freezer. Of course, it was a rookie error. We forgot that alcohol lowers the freezing point. So there was Bobby, after being in the freezer, still looking at us and breathing away. My goodness. This was now emotionally the worst thing we'd ever experienced. So anyway, we then decided that we just had to close the freezer and left him there overnight. And yes, Bobby did go up to the great goldfish bowl in the sky. We then decided to give him the ceremonial burial in the garden with the kids, just to give them the idea and knowledge and experience of what it's like to have loss. And he was had that ceremonial burial in the garden. And of course, our children then turned around and said, "Daddy, can we get another goldfish?" I think it was fair to say we never ever bought another goldfish. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Gerard. My God, what a resilient fish Bobby was. After the last story, lots of people were Googling Island of Egg. But I hope that people are not Googling goldfish euthanasia as a result of this. Decide that they are going to continue to show love to their goldfish. Like their children did, not like you did. Have you caved in the time since and gotten, I don't know, a terrapin or any other kind of animal in the house? Or are you just concentrating on keeping your children alive?
Yeah, no, we safe to say we never got any more goldfish, but we do have some dogs. But it was just an insight to how resilient goldfish can be, and the real humane way of trying to do this. But boys, oh dear, we got many barriers in the way.
Well, thank you for disturbing us with your story. Telling us that story. Wonderful. Yeah, people are suggesting sending messages to your poor wee dog to watch out.
Okay, no worry. We're looking after him.
Of course. Yeah.